And let's see, it's not recording. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to kind of hide this up here so I can see you guys. And welcome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, make yourselves look pretty.
This is the I care mode.
And I'm going to mute us. Does that sound good? Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Take one.
Go for it.
Great. So, first of all, I'm honored that Joan reached out to me to talk to you guys about getting the spouse involved.
Someone's asking about your shirt.
Yeah, right? I'm representing. How's that? Did you notice? All right, cool. So, just to give a quick rundown or to bring you up to speed as far as our history. This was a stay-home mom, raised our babies. I worked my ass off 6 days a week. Literally a short day for me was 12 hours because I was in the car business. And so in any kind of commission sales, especially that type of sales, that the better you are, the more they want you there. So luckily, I was good at my job and provided a great lifestyle for us. But it came at a sacrifice as far as her raising our babies by themselves. I mean, it got to the point where she was going on trips like back to Washington to see her parents, or to take, the kids to my parents' house, the grandparents, to spend for the summer. And I had to stay there and work. And, years of that going by just started brewing, an idea for something different. The what ifs start popping out. And then we never know what else to do. She would ask me, what if you could do something more from home, or we got to get you out of the car business. I know you like doing it, but God, you're never here, and weekends and everything, and every holiday, especially, you guys know. And so she's been a little fitness instructor badass her whole life. And we still today use that in a very great ad that we wrote together last night, of all things. And it's just kind of funny how so many little bits and pieces of your past become your future or make your path. Because she's an aerobics instructor and doing all this. And so she flashbacked and in that ad talked about how, you kill yourself, you do all these classes for $30, $30, or she still has so many friends that she's close with, and me too, that are personal instructors and things like that are, making $30,000 a year. And they work crazy hours. Sometimes they're, 4:30 in the morning, they're there. So even though we're polar opposites, where we come from, our memories and working history is so relatable. So anyways, she started this Beachbody thing, and you guys know the story. It worked. And she took me for a walk one night. We were walking the dog, and she goes, "You can finally come home." And I'm like, "Yeah? Why?" And she goes, "I make enough to pay the bills." And I'm the guy that pays the bills, right? And she still works the same way today. She puts her head down, she doesn't look up, and she just freaking goes for it, right? And so she's like, "I make $5,000 a month." And I was like, I was blown away. I was like, "Holy shit, you do? I mean, where's this money?" And so, but then I started thinking, I go, "God, that's really close. I mean, that could make it." We're a family of 4 and living in, Dallas. So you always spend more than you make. So we needed a little bit more to take care of the bills. And she goes, and you can see her bubble burst a little bit. And she said, "Well, how much more?" And I said, "You'd have to double it." And I'll be damned if in less than a year she did. So a lot of this working together as a team is sharing everything right from the beginning. Now let me retract and stick my whole foot in my mouth, because I was the total typical asshole when she started this business and made so much fun of her. Like, even the name Beachbody, I was like, who the hell is going to take that seriously? You want to put all your eggs in that basket? Knock yourself out. Let me be the first one to run up and kick it. No one's going to believe that or take you seriously. And she goes, "Well, but I'm having fun, and a lot of my girlfriends are doing it, and they're just telling me to do it." And she goes, "What difference does it make? If it doesn't cost a lot of money, can I do it?" And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, knock yourself out," right? So It's just kind of funny how now that there was success in this thing, I would have changed so much. And just by being on this call with you guys tonight, if I can share a couple of little things, not necessarily specifics, but it's more of a mindset of where you need to be. Like if whether it's her being the forefront of the business, or if it's the man of the house being the face, I call the face the forefront. You're the poster. You're the one that's got, the following. You're the one that's got the creativity, whatever. Usually the spouse, the opposite side, has a different wheelhouse, whether it's I'm the money person, or I'm the numbers guy, or I could help with advertising, or things like that. She's taking this so seriously. She's going to start painting her nails next. And so this is how we get along. I choke her later. So, a lot of what I do is just being, Shalene and Brett talked about this about a year ago in a Smart Success or something like that. Can't remember shit. The plow and the cone, right? And there's always a cone. The cone wants safety and expects the plow to push things out of their way and to keep the distractions and the diversions away so they can be great, okay? Well, she was already great at what she did, so why would I come home and try to compete or go head-to-head with that? But it didn't take long after I came home as a fish out of water and we fought like crazy, and I was telling her, I would do this, I would try this, I would do this different. Well, I'm an aggressive salesperson that was working commission, and it was do or die. Like, sit on them, buy it, or I'll never see you again, And she's like, you can't treat people that way. And I'm like, well, that's why you don't have the commissions that you want. And I mean, it was ugly, right? And for the first 6 months, the words several times came out of her mouth. Why don't you just go back to work? So just understand that. And we have a great relationship, and obviously, so we can talk and joke about this. But understand that too, that when that time comes and she can retire you or he can retire her, that it's not going to be a smooth transition. Just like when you start a new job or you go into a new career, or you used to do construction and now you're going to do jewelry sales. I mean, you're going to have to understand all the differences. So when I came home, and after we kind of weeded through that, I noticed that to keep her in her core occupancy of what she would do, which is starting up conversations, just leading from the heart, being the smiley face, and most importantly, just me kind of eating a lot of the crap that comes into the business, just so she doesn't have to see it, feel it, have it bounce off her and slow her down. That was huge in the beginning. And guys, because I'm assuming I'm talking to 95% of guys getting behind the women and working the business, the best thing you can do is first and foremost believe in it. This thing is real. It's not a Ponzi scheme, and you don't have to give all your money back at the end of the month. And so it's real. It's going to work. Secondly, just understand or see things that drive her nuts. And in the beginning, it can be as simple as, and I'll say it, it can be as simple as a dirty house, a dish full of, a sink full of dishes that she knows she's got to do. Somebody's got to do it, right? Like if I'm out in the yard doing whatever, somebody's got to do the dishes. Somebody's got to pick up the kids. Somebody's got to, we ran out of that in the refrigerator. I mean, in the beginning, it's going to seem like cool. And I felt this, and I even yelled at her several times, like, you brought me home to be a goddamn man, like, I just feel like I'm doing this remedial stuff. And I'm making this sound like all we do is scream and yell at each other. I'm not, but I'm just trying to make light of it, right? But that's how it started. And then you keep your eyes open and you notice, I'd watch her just huff and puff going through these messages. And I'm like, well, what's wrong? And she goes, oh, I just, when I see people cancel, or every time I get on the back office, I this. And I go, okay, is the back office that hard to understand? No, but I just have to show somebody how to do it. Well, show me how to do it. So she showed me how to do the back office. She doesn't get in the back office anymore. I call the coaches and say, do you know you're going to lose your emerald? Do you know you need 4 on one side, 4 on the other side? You know what I mean? And I walk them through that. And about a year ago is when it really came full circle to me. And our coaches would start contacting me on things. Not, hey, is Melissa available? Could you let her know what I'm looking for? That's usually what it was, right? And then for the first 2 years in Beachbody, whenever we'd go to an event, I would literally wear a name tag that said Melissa's husband. Because I always look at her and go, nobody gives a shit who I am or what I'm doing. I'm just your bitch, you know? I'd say this stuff to her all the time. She'd be like, yes, you are. But a big part on her too, and it was a very well-established business. She's a 15-star before I came home. So it's like, I was like, okay, you climb the ladder. Cool. You're at the top, whatever. Big deal. We're done, right? She's like, no, I want to keep going. I want to keep doing it. And so again, the guy, I'm like, no, let's go travel. And we're making money and it'll pay the bills. I don't care. And she kept working this thing. And that's when I had to find my place. You know, I had to find out, what can I do to help? Great, I'm doing the back office. Now what? You know? And she'd come to me and she'd go, well, you know, you were really good in advertising when you did car sales and stuff. And could you help me with some ads? And so I'd write some ads, and then she'd look over and go, oh my God, that would like turn people off. You can't be that aggressive. You can call people out like that. And I'm like, hey, you can't people like that. I think it's funny. And so then again, it was some tweaking, you know. Some of her had to go in it, so it would be touchy-feely and genuine. And she needed a little bit from me to kind of poke them and go, doesn't that hurt? Isn't that real? Isn't that why you want to quit your job? You know? And then and it was a little bit of experiment, you know, when we'd go up and down and tune it in and tune it back. And then all of a sudden we have a couple of hits. And then it was like, hey. And the biggest thing that felt great to me is when she started saying our business instead of my business. Because she would always say, can you help me with my business? Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And I'm like, well, shit. I should have just stayed working where I was working, because now I got another job. But when she started saying it's ours, right? And look what we did. We're qualifying for double 15-star. I'm like, well, you are, but if you can, you know, include me in it, that's cool. You know, I understand that much more of it is her, but it's just nice to understand too that the more I'm putting into this, the more I'm learning, and that the more I'm able to help, like genuinely help things go forward. And then, so you look at the whole thing as an overview and you go, does it really work? Does working as couples really work in this business? Well, for one, it's not addressed nearly as heavy as an individual coach building a business, right? There's not many couples that are. And you can do it differently. Look at the Reeds, for example. You got Cody and you got Chris, and they're kind of like almost building their own little empires. And they challenge each other, you know, in rank, and they call each other out, and that works great. You know, it's a competitive nature within the same household. With me and someone that was so established, I'm like, why would I go head to head with that? That's just crazy. You know, why would I pull away? Try to pull people from that. So know as well that there's different ways to build within your household. It doesn't have to be together. I mean, I would suggest so, because that's how we do it, and it seems really comfortable for us. I guess kind of in closing, you guys are probably wondering, like, what systems did they use, and how do they you know, watch their run rates on ads, and what is that called? When analytics, do they watch the analytics and the pie charts and shit? I'll tell you what, we make 7 figures a year, and we don't watch shit. We don't have systems. We don't do analytics. We don't do it. What we do is we communicate as much as we can, and we're diligent. I'll put it right out there. We, like, in our mentality, we want to outwork everybody. So it's not like you need to work harder to be more successful in this business. But for us, like, when we're in the element of this is work time, we just kill it, and we're diligent. Like, we're showing up constantly. If we get a message, we respond as instantly as we can. anytime, every time. And we don't care if it's a brand new coach asking some remedial stupid thing, or if it's, one of our coaches qualifying to be 5-star or 10-star. It's the same importance, and even coming up on 8 years in, it doesn't matter. So just don't deviate as well, right? From start to finish. Okay, I'll take a breath.
I just, you did very good. I'm so proud of him. It's so fun to sit here and watch him be a part of it. It's like as time goes by, the more involved he gets and the more face that he has as well with the company, which I appreciate. And he nailed everything on the head. But one thing I want to share with you, watching this, I assume it's for the most part because you're in a relationship and you're either wanting to bring your spouse home or you guys are about there, or you're got your spouse watching this because you just want them to be a believer. But what I've really learned by having Mick be more involved in the business, and he's always taking care of, I call it the hard stuff, because he allows me to do what I love to do. So I'm coming into this, doing this 8 years, and I'm not burned out. He probably wishes I would be, but he allows me to do the stuff that I enjoy doing. And so I just fall deeper and deeper in love with this business because I get to do the fun stuff and I get to help people change their lives. And I don't have to do the not so fun stuff, the taxes, the back office stuff that he takes care of for me. We give out Success Club gifts. He takes care of that. He mails it out for me. He orders them for me. He's my creative mind. We try to come up with creative gifts every month for our Success Club hitters. And he's the one who comes up with the great ideas because he's a lot more creative than I am. And so he does all of that. But now he's more toward the forefront. What I'm finding in this business is when people decide to join a business and become an entrepreneur and they're looking for mentors, they're looking for more than just someone to help them start making income. They're looking for someone to help them in all aspects of their lives. And it's funny because it's a realization that just hit me when he mentioned Brett and Shalene, who have been our mentors for so long. One of the reasons that we chose them as our mentors is because of their great marriage and the relationship and how they work well together. And so if you want to build a business where you're bringing on coaches that have good relationships with their spouses or their significant others, you have to put that out there as well, that that you do and that you guys work well together. And you're going to attract people that have that same mentality and will want to follow in your footsteps and will want to work hard to bring their spouse home and be able to create financial freedom and a lot of time to enjoy your family and to travel and to mentor other people to do the exact same thing. So ever since he started posting more about Beachbody and the difference in the quality of our life, I always tell people that I married this stupid guy because I actually really like him. And 70 plus hours a week, and I never got to see him. And we have the most amazing kids, and he never got to spend time with them. Was eating me up inside. And I just thought that is just so unfair. He's completely giving up his life so that we have one. And I almost to the point that and forgive me, this is recorded too, but I almost get angry because, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom and raise my children. Well, you can do that. But you can also, for 30 minutes a day, put a little bit of time into creating something that's going to help relieve the person that's making it possible for you to be home. And I think that's just possible for anybody. And I always stress, you've got to take care of yourself anyway. Why wouldn't you, pick a business where you have to do it anyway, right? You have to take care of yourself. It's just, it doesn't happen anymore naturally. Technology is too good. People are too, I don't want to say the word lazy, but everything is done for them. Microwaves, garage door openers, remote controls. You never get up. So you have to exercise anyway. And the nutrition is, don't get me on my soapbox, is ridiculous. And so to have something that gives you good nutrition every day is something you have to do anyway. So why not invest in it as a business, and a business that, you can work with your spouse as well, because both men and women need to take care of themselves. So I've just really seen a jump in our business and the quality of the people that we attract, because they see that this has just helped our business, has helped every aspect of our lives.
That's so true. Like in the last couple of years, the quality of our coaches are insane. I mean, seriously, we're bringing in doctors, attorneys, just super educated people, you know, and it's awesome. And they don't even say anything or address it, but once they sign up and a couple months in, it'll come out somewhere and they'll say, well, you know why I chose you? And we're like, no. And they said, we watched, you know, for a while, my husband and I watched for a while, specifically about your relationship and what type of lifestyle that you have. And we wanted that. We were smart enough to understand that that's what we want. And I was like, hey, cool. You know? And so, the people are just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's what you want. I mean, you want business builders, and that's what these people are.
Yeah. And the ladies out there, encourage your spouse, your partner to post in their way. I think Mick does a really good job with his amazing sense of humor. Putting posts out there that are funny, but at the same time, you know, there's always an underlying message, you know, about, you know, the lifestyle that he has, or the freedom that he has, or, you know, what, you know, Melissa started off as has now become ours. So just because you're not necessarily the coach in the business, you are a part of the business, and you have to also post things that make people go, you know, is coaching for me? Or should I reach out to my friend's wife and see about doing a challenge group with her? So he's done a really good job of putting out there he's still who he is, but he has attracted people that can connect with me and end up becoming a part of the business just because they've gone through him, because he does put it out there. And you have to, but you have to do it your own way. Don't ever, and he's very good about that, ever doesn't try to do what I do, because when he does what I do, it's not authentic.
Super weird.
Yeah, so he's always posting as himself, but there's intention behind it.
As himself?
Yes. Yeah, astastic.
I caught that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and to touch base one-on-one to the guys here, what she means about, or by that too, is you have to understand your importance. And I kind of lost mine when I came home. I was like, holy shit, I just gave up my 20-year career to come home and be my wife's sidekick. And that's how I felt. But you need to look in the mirror and understand this. She chose you chose him long before this to be married, and you guys love each other. You love, you know, their personality and what they do for you and things like that, you know, and that's what you need to, that needs to be your hub in this thing. Okay. Don't worry about it's a business. Don't worry about, well, I'm just starting and I'm new, or don't worry about, well, she's already a 4-star. How do I come into this? And where's my value? Don't worry about it. The biggest thing is just own it together and just get involved. Just get involved with it and feel comfortable. Feel comfortable working with her instead of just kind of being in the house and passing by and be like, oh my God, it's on a goal again, it's on a go coach again, oh God. You know, because then it is weird. Then it is weird. When you're too separated from it, it's hard to start believing it.
Yeah, we have a few coaches on here. I see Leah and Chris are on here, and they actually met because of Beachbody. It's pretty cute. But I see some coaches in here too, and maybe they'll type in the text, but they can attest the spirit and the energy in the team page has gone up tremendously since Mick has gotten involved. I mean, we do team trips and stuff, and he's 100% in charge of that.
I'm the rah-rah guy.
Goodness, I could, he's an amazing travel agent. I couldn't do it. But he does all of those behind the scenes things that would drive me bananas. And he does, he amps the team up, and he reminds them, you know, who's qualified for it and all these amazing things. And he posts
again, it's stuff that she doesn't need to have in here. And that's all you're trying to do. That's all you're trying to do is just take some of the heavy off of them, because it bogs them down. And if she's building slower, who's it cost? Both of you, not her. It costs both of you, right? If she can't do what she's designed to do. So that's all it is. Oh, and don't think you're going to come home and just do all the bad stuff. Like she said, he does all the tough stuff and the junk and the taxes and the bleh. Because any one of you guys out there that have been the breadwinner for years and years and years, wouldn't you trade the freedom of being home, running your own hours, to do some phone calls and yell at some dumb people on the phone and work your bills? And she hears me all the time. I'm like, I was going to kill some bitch on the phone. But I think I do a lot of it just so she feels that I have like a little harder job. So it gives me a little more credibility. But she hears me like go off in my office all the time. The way our house is set up, like this is her office and my office is on the other side of the house. Actually, that's really good advice too. If you're willing to put some time into this business with her, I wouldn't do it side by side. Not at all. We don't. She has her office, I have my office. She has her list of tasks, I have my list of tasks. I know I did, right? If you're in the same room and you're too close, do you understand what I'm saying? You're gonna contradict each other. You're gonna tell them, hey, I wouldn't do it that way. Do you know what I'm saying? Then you're gonna lose the fact of what does he have that's gonna help you, or what does she have that's gonna help you. But by separating a little bit, it's kind of magic. Are we done?
What?
I think we're all out of air.
Well, we talked.
Oh, that's a half an hour. We're done.
All right, so
Good. Only one take. That was nice.
I have a couple questions for you, but I think that
The red button wasn't on. I don't think it took.
there might be a few in here as well. So I just wanted to make sure that we got those covered. You guys have a couple minutes for questions?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So you help, Kat, I think, is asking Mick, I think she's asking you this. Do you help answer messages or have conversations as well?
We have an assistant. And if you're at the point where you can afford one, friggin' get one. Mm-hmm. Because the assistant can take care of a lot of little, I call them canned emails, like the things you've said 1,000 frickin' times and you're tired of saying it. Mm-hmm. It's real simple to set up an assistant with that stuff, and they can kind of hammer some. It is funny though, I do respond to coaches quite a bit because they'll reach out to Melissa, and if she's busy or they know she's in California because she just posted on Facebook, hey, I'm filming Pio, guess who gets blown up on the messages? And so absolutely, I'll get involved and respond as well.
And also, I mean, it's awesome that you guys brought up your posting, because you both post to social media so differently. And Mick is definitely somebody I know Ryan looks at up to as a male in the business, the way he posts, because I think so many of us think that we need to post like the females in this business, and it's hard for a dude to do that. But what I think you do really great is you're always building up Melissa. You're always talking about the lifestyle behind your business, and I think that you do such a good job highlighting that is probably why you're attracting coaches that want that lifestyle. I guess my question is, how do you so the people who are attracted to you because of how you post, how do you sort of funnel them in to get them started as a coach on the team? Do you funnel them to Melissa? Does Melissa reach out?
I'll never, like, if someone starts we start a conversation and it takes the Beachbody way. I'm a loud talker.
It's killing me.
Sometimes he's talking next to me on a Zoom call too, and all of a sudden I'm just like, I'm trying to pretend like I'm not being rude or like I'm just itching my ear or something, but I'm like, God.
we want to be heard. So,
no.
What is the question?
How do you get
to me? So when someone reaches out and we start any kind of thread or Facebook relationship, and then the discussion of Beachbody comes across, I'll usually take a light stab, meaning Meaning, okay, well, you asked about Beachbody. Is it specifically because you want to try a program for yourself, or are you thinking of, trying it on as a business?
Right.
And depending upon what they say, if it's just a program, I'll continue to go forward, and then I'll ask her, hey, what link do you want to send? Which business center controlling your Success Club points or whatever, right? What link do you want me to send them for a product? Or if it's a business opportunity, then I come right in and I say, hey, look, my wife's the pro with this. So she'll shoot you straight and be able to give you much more detail on your questions than I will. Would you feel comfortable talking to her directly? And 100 out of 100 times they say, oh my God, absolutely. I just didn't think she'd talk. Usually if they looked on her social media, they're like, I didn't think she'd have time or could give two shits to talk to me. But yeah, they're always receptive to that. So for sure. And if anything, and guys, wouldn't you feel great if, like, Ryan, you meet somebody and you guys start talking and you say, hey, you want to talk to my wife, Joan? She's a great 10-star. Holy shit, yeah, I want to talk to her. Because a guy right away will feel like they're getting better information for someone that's more successful, right? So absolutely, it's a good thing.
And then what would you give for advice to somebody on how to get there? Maybe their spouse doesn't want to come home. Maybe their spouse doesn't want to really participate as our business. Maybe they're just total haters like I was at first. So how do you, what's your advice to them to sort of help them to get them to at least be okay with them doing the business?
This one or this one?
I want both.
You go. I know my answer is.
Well, then you go first.
I'm a dude. What gets our attention more than anything? Show me the money. Yep.
The booty.
Absolutely. The booty first, then the money. Right? If you're lucky, it's at the same time. No, absolutely. The best thing you can do, you want to get your spouse's attention, and it's exactly what she did. Were you listening to my conversation? We went on a walk, and she thought she had me. She thought she was the closer that night. Hey, you can come home. And I'm like, oh, yeah? There's proof right there. She had my attention. I'm like, yeah? Okay, what? She's like, I'm at $5,000. I'm like, holy shit. Even though it was short, I was blown away. That was the first time I thought, well, this is no joke. This could be it, And so the advice is work your ass off and start making some money and show them some of these checks. And then just be like, I can spend them on clothes and shoes and stuff, or we could work it together and go for bigger things, like maybe a better house or something. And what do you think?
Yeah, and I'll just add to that by saying, find out what it is that your partner maybe isn't comfortable with the business. Is there something they don't like about it? Because, for instance, Super Saturdays. I always get mixed comments on Super Saturdays. Some people go to them and they're like, that's the cheesiest thing I've ever gone to. That was stupid. And then I get, that's the most inspiring thing I've ever been to. So if your spouse doesn't do the rah-rah cheerleader type thing, maybe, a Super Saturday is not the place to take them to get them more involved in the business, right? It's not that kind of a thing. So just find out what it is about your spouse that isn't comfortable with the business, or if they really truly love what they do, they can still do it. But, you can always do it part-time. There's nothing wrong with doing it 2, 3, 4 days a week or half days so that you have more time for your spouse and your family. But if they help you out a little bit, then they're able to not work as much, so they have more freedom to spend with the people they love.
We always fear things we don't know or understand as well, and especially for the guy spouses, we don't know this Beachbody thing. We sure as hell don't know social media marketing and why would you make money doing this? So it seems very weird. And then I don't know if I want to be friends with those type of people anyway, like network marketers and fitness and health. That was me, totally. That was me. And I can tell you right now, I told her this last week, I consider my closest and best friends that I've had in my life from Beachbody. Ryan, Chris, Robert Hudgens, we spend a ton of time together. And Adam Carr, all these people that are like influential, good friends and good dudes. are husbands of successful Beachbody coaches. So that's what also made me go, I'm okay with this, you know?
You know what's really cool too about what you said about that? I think like early on in our relationship, you know, if he had told me he was going on a trip with like all dudes somewhere, I've been like, really? Where are you going? Like, who are you going with? I don't know.
What girls are gonna be there?
I don't know if I trust this. But he's like,
so.
Are you taking somebody once?
I'm going on a ski trip with like Mick and Chris and Rob and all these guys. And I was like, have fun. Go. You want me to book your ticket for you? I'll do it right now. Like, I literally was like, get out.
Isn't that awesome? And that is like such a good point, because by being homeless, working together, I never feel guilty looking at her and go, hey, 5 to 6 of my buddies, we want to load up the dirt bikes and go to Moab. She's like, later. See, take your time. Seriously. She appreciates the time alone because it's quiet. She can go into grind mode, or maybe she's got 2 or 3 projects that she's wanted to really crack open and she hasn't. So now here's her chance. And it's a good break for us too. No matter how well you get along, it's just nice. It's just nice to go do your own thing. Her and Taylor just went to Mexico for a week. And that was a long overdue thing. It was a mom and daughter trip. They've never done a mom and daughter trip. And now she's like, that's an annual thing. We're going to do it every year.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
So yeah, definitely.
So, unless there's any other questions, which I don't see any, but I did want to share like all the love in here for you guys. They're saying goosebumps, and like they're hoping, that their hubby's going to come around. They want their relationship to be just like yours. This is a huge motivator. Thank you for sharing. So tons of love. Everybody likes your shirt, Mick. Shocker. So you guys will have to come back up. But thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on this call with us. And I know that everybody here appreciates it too. I'm sure that this is something that they're going to share with their spouses and rewatch. And I will post the recording on YouTube and then share with you. So you can tell if you like. So thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the invite. You guys have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.